Hello, Bryan Colter here, Evolutionary Astrologer, for another horoscope report for the upcoming Cancer new moon that happens at the end of the month, June 28th or 29th, depending on what time zone you're in. Before we get to that, though, big announcement. I started a Patreon community about 4 months ago. It's been growing beautifully, but I've decided to make some major changes in my offering and the tier structure. I simplified it. I reduced it to a singular $9 a month tier, where the goal for this community basically is to raise our consciousness together. But of course, that's what we're doing here on YouTube. But through Patreon, we're able to do that in a much more intimate way. So I offer a exclusive Discord chat server. We're going to have a Zoom community meetup group once a month where we can meditate together and chat about astrology and consciousness. I do chart spotlight videos. Like recently, I did a video on Elon Musk. That was very interesting. And we'll also be holding some contests to, work with me in different ways, like winning a free energy healing session with me. So a lot going on there. If you're curious to check out all the offerings, I'll put a link above and below and you can check it out. With all that being said, let's go ahead and dive into the astrology. Okay, so here is the chart. And I think our approach here is going to be rather simple, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time looking at this chart, but we'll just take a quick tour through it, see what's going on. It's really simple what we want to focus on. It's this very powerful Cancer new moon, which of course always happens just after the summer solstice in the northern hemisphere, as we've officially entered into this Cancer season. And this is so strong, because the planet that rules Cancer is the moon itself. Here it is conjunct the sun. So, this is where we're going to be spending most of our time. First thing we want to look for is there any planets in aspect to this new moon? And here we find this Jupiter, which is quite strong in the sign of Aries. So Aries is the warrior archetype. There's a lot of warrior energy going on in the sky right now. We also have Mars in Aries. Mars rules Aries. Jupiter loves to be in Aries. We have Chiron in Aries, so strong warrior energy. But this Jupiter is, as you can see, an extremely tight, what's called square aspect to this new moon. New moon's at 7 degrees of Cancer. That's important to point out because you want to be aware of where you have 7 degrees of Cancer in your own birth chart. That's how you know what house of your birth chart this new moon is happening in, where you can create a new beginning. That's very Cancerian in nature. We'll be talking more about that soon. But what's intimately tied into this is this strong Jupiter-Moon square. So Jupiter and Aries square the new moon, and that's really all we really want to focus on. There's always a lot going on in the sky, so we have to have a strategic approach in what we choose to focus on. But really, that's the headliner for this new moon. Also of note is the Uranus conjunct the North Node. As I've been talking about in all my videos this year, this North Node in Taurus is very important. It's like our karmic medicine, where we try to, in very Taurus ways, cultivate more inner peace, more inner calm, groundedness, body-centered awareness. And how you do that through Taurus ways is anything tangible, tactile, anything using the 5 senses, like listening to music, stimulating that calm within, getting out into nature, working with wood or fabric or clay, massage, just through the mysteries of touch. It's just bringing your attention back to the body, back to the nature, back to what's natural, so that we can stimulate that inner peace. So that's still very relevant, of course. And then we have Venus and Mercury in Gemini. Mercury rules Gemini. We have a lot of planets in their own sign right now, which means the archetypes are super strong. I talked about this extensively in the last video, so I feel like I can shelve that for this video, even though it's still very relevant. If you want to understand this energy more deeply, you can check out the last video I did called YOLO Supermoon. But it's very energetic. It's the sign of learning and communication. This idea of stimulation following your curiosity. Relationships that are chatty are very good to seek out. Creativity involving the voice, communication, or writing. And this is more kind of describing what the energy feels like. It feels invigorating. It feels energetic. It feels lively. And then what can we do with it? I talked about various examples, but through the evolutionary astrology perspective, one of the more advanced ways of working with this is not only about speech and communication, but monitoring our thoughts and seeking to have more life-affirming, loving, virtuous thoughts, if you will, and develop more awareness about some of your more negative thought structures, and then actively try to empower the more virtuous ones and de-energize or strangle the ones that are no longer serving you. So again, if you want to go more deeply into that, I recommend the last video. But with that being said, that's really the lay of the land here. We want to look at this Cancer new moon and the Jupiter square it. Okay, so let's change the camera here, and okay, there we are. So with moon in its own sign of Cancer conjunct the sun, here we are entering the summer solstice. The purest expression of this lunar/Cancerian archetype is that of the Great Mother. Okay, and the Great Mother nurtures all life. It's the symbol of compassion. It's the symbol of healing, of regeneration and rejuvenation. Now, there's multiple ways to work with this energy. I'm going to describe two primary ways. On the face value, they look very different, but actually they're opposite sides of the same coin, essentially. Now, which side of the coin should you be working with personally? I would say follow your heart with that, because, moon is about heart energy. So, and that's a great way of working with the Ven, actually. It's just bringing that, I talked about Taurus, bringing that conscious awareness into the body, that groundedness, but also into the chest, more specifically, into the heart, and feel into which path looks best for you. Now, if I was doing a reading for you and I could see your chart, get a feeling for who you are, what's going on in your life, it would become very obvious which one. But I would just recommend feeling into it. Depends a lot on your own nature and what you're experiencing now. So we take this idea of healing. Okay. Now, if I was doing a reading for somebody who had a strong Cancerian energy in their chart, like Sun in Cancer, Moon in Cancer, very strong fourth house, maybe Cancer rising as well, or strong lunar energy, that would be kind of at least one of the core evolutionary paths for these people, is the grand trajectory of heal thyself to become the healer. That's the core evolutionary path, basically. Because the best healers in the world, which Cancer folks are, that's part of their destiny, their purpose, is to reduce the pain and suffering of others and to be protective too. And many of them are literal mothers and fathers, okay, and caretakers, okay, and are often in healing professions. But the essential prerequisite for this, folks, is they got to make sure they have a balanced relationship of how much they take care of themselves and also how much they take care of others. And the evolutionary logic in it is that the more they heal themselves, the better the healers to become. And they open the flower to this larger destiny to be that healer. But really, balance is key. Because one of the challenges for Cancer folks is that they will, because this is part of their mission, is they will attract the wounded into their life, And so developing a certain level of discernment on who they want to nurture and take care of. Otherwise, they just end up taking care of everybody else and never taking care of themselves, which would then lead to them not achieving the initial intention of heal thyself. And why do these people need to heal themselves? Why is that such a core evolutionary path? That's when we look to the karma of their chart, the nose of the moon, and we look back there in the mysteries of their soul, that deep, deep history over the course of multiple lifetimes that led to them to this current incarnation as a soul electing to be born with this energetic template, their birth chart. So there's a reason why they need to heal themselves, probably because they took care of everybody else, that dark side of the mother archetype. So this new moons are about new beginnings, okay? What new beginnings can I take in my life to self-nurture, but also maybe to take care of other people? Or where do I need to set boundaries in my life where maybe I'm overextending in the amount that I'm taking care of other people, you know? So is it, you know, it's sometimes it's more focused on inward needs, you know, heal thyself. Sometimes it's more focused on outward needs, you know, other people, or setting healthy boundaries, or a nice combination of the two. Now, that Jupiter in Aries is quite interesting here. As I said, it's in a square, a very tight square, near exact. And squares are typically described as like bad aspects. It's like a friction-based aspect, a hard angle, 90 degrees, usually described as a bad or a negative thing. And I reject that language. They're not bad, but they are difficult. They are pretty challenging. So Jupiter is actually a beautiful planet. I mean, it's known as the greater benefic for a reason, the planet of luck and expansion. And whatever house in your chart is going through, wherever you have 7 degrees of Aries, you know, look for some luck and expansion in that area of your life. If you're proactively engaged in your evolutionary journey working with Jupiter, the way you do that is basically build faith in yourself. That king of the gods, greater benefic energy wants you to believe in yourself. Establish a deeper level of faith in yourself and your own abilities. And the more you do that, the more faith you embody, and you can extend that faith out to other people and have a magical catalytic effect upon them as you carry this king or queen energy quite strong. So through the evolutionary lens, as we ask ourselves Jupiter questions, which are very up for us now over the next couple of weeks. I mean, I'm recording this on the 23rd, the new moon's on the 28th or 29th. We can, you know, extend this energy out another week or so, as the Jupiter continues to square the sun, because the sun moves slower than the moon. These Jupiterian evolutionary questions are, how am I underestimating myself? Okay. How can I expand into life? Where do I need a little bit more faith? Where do I need a little bit more courage? That's a very relevant question too, because it's in the sign of Aries, the warrior, Mars, the war god, ditto. In its own sign, the warrior, as I said before, a lot of warrior energy, okay? Which is about facing your fears, developing more courage, being more assertive. Okay, so we have these, family of archetypes here: king/queen, warrior, healer, or mother, the great mother archetype. And you could take this in a lot of different directions. I think it was a summer solstice video in 2020, I think it was. It's kind of a blur at this point. But I remember the video was called Season of the Protector, because here we entered the summer solstice, this new Cancer season. And at that time, I don't remember the specifics, but there was strong warrior. I think perhaps maybe even Mars was in Aries then too. I don't remember exactly. But what I do remember is there was strong warrior energy and strong healer energy. And you put those two together, which is very strong now as well, 2 years later, protector. Now, why is that? Because what do mothers and warriors have in common? Their instinct is to protect the weak and the defenseless, kind of a mama bear or papa bear energy, okay? So this protective quality is very activated now as well. Protect yourself, protect those you love, okay? And that is a healing action. That is a warrior action. And it might even require you to face your fears just to do that. So that's one powerful way this can be activated. And actually a good rule of thumb is to recognize where Mars is in your chart right now, 25 degrees in Aries and beyond. It's like, oh, okay, this house, maybe it's activating some planets in your chart too. This is where I need to sharpen my will and develop my courage. I need to be a warrior here. So we circle back to this idea of much different ways of working with this energy. Heal thyself to become the healer, that great mother trajectory. So I think healing thyself, no matter how you do it, is a good rule of thumb here, okay? Healing others, well, you got to figure out if there's some boundary issues there, So how do you heal yourself now? It can be getting more quiet time in your life, more sanctuary time, taking a bubble bath. That's a beautiful combination of Cancer and Taurus, as I was talking about before. Being at home at night, just relaxing, that'll bring your awareness into your body. And you just feel all the static electricity pulled out of your body, that relaxation. put a little Epsom salt in there too, which has an amazing cleansing effect on your etheric body. We're getting a little woo-woo here, but hey, you're talking to an astrologer. So Epsom salt bath, candlelight, take care of yourself. Cooking a good meal with those you love as well. Cancer is also the sign of family. So taking care of yourself. Also assessing where in your life you might be extending too much caretaker or healer or protector energy to other people in your life that has turned into a more draining or vampiric or exhausting sort of relationship dynamic. Part of being a warrior is learning when to be decisive, be assertive, draw your line in the sand, say enough is enough, and perhaps you'll need to, in warrior fashion, have faith in yourself. There's that Jupiter energy, and take back some of that energy you're putting out so that you can not only focus that energy more on your own healing journey, especially, but then also extend that out to people you actually want to help and heal. Maybe that relationship has played its course, and now you can cut those cords of attachment. And by the way, as you know, I do guided meditations on this channel. It's very much focused on heart energy, healing yourself, extending that out to another individual through forgiveness. Forgiveness is a beautiful word right now, okay? And finding deep healing, not only personally, but healing another person in the astral, in a meditative state, but then also afterwards cutting the cords of attachment. This is a great time for cutting cords, okay? The question is, Jupiter, Aries, do you value yourself enough to do that? This is the square energy. It's hard. It's like however this manifests, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more challenging, require you to step a little bit more outside of your comfort zones to really make it happen. Okay. A lot of people, sometimes they'll feel an urge to help. This is a great time for, I really like the word tithing right now, it's kind of a religious term. It's like the whole idea of a tithing, 10% of your income is a good goal for tithing. I mean, we don't have to be all rigid about it, but like just donating, whether it doesn't have to be money, like your time, whatever, that's a healing action too. The reason why I'm using that as an example is because Jupiter, that king or queen energy, one of the virtues associated with Jupiter is generosity. So how can I be generous with my healing energy, simultaneously doing it in such a way where I step at least a half step, maybe even just your pinky toe, beyond my comfort zones? You sprinkle a little bit of that warrior energy. If you're able to do that, you extend yourself a little bit, you develop more courage, okay, more of that warrior assertiveness, and it works out. You extend that healing energy out. It's like, oh, I'm worth it. They're worth it. This act of giving, of generosity, other people benefit. And this is tying into the law of karma. It's like what you reap, you shall sow. You in air quotes, tithe, you give of yourself. You lean into the generosity of Jupiter, you will be rewarded in kind, So it's that giving, healing energy, but also receiving. And to just put yourself out there to do that in whatever way suits you. It's going to be a little different for everybody, And it's, in my experience, it's a common theme. Obviously, not everybody falls into this, but like I've been into various healing arts over the years, and going to workshops and whatnot. And there's always a percentage of the people where I'm in conversation with them, talking about whatever it is, whether it's astrology or energy healing or whatever I was into at that time. And it was common for me to hear when we're talking about, oh, well, how's this working for you? This astrology, for example. And I would hear from my fellow students and colleagues at that time, oh, I haven't given any readings yet. It's a huge responsibility and I'm not ready, And some of these people have been studying for 5 or sometimes 10 years and they haven't even given a reading. And I totally get it. I'm not coming from a place of judgment because being a counselor, a counseling astrologer is a huge responsibility, and you can do irreversible damage. And a lot of my work with my clients is actually undoing some of that damage that has been done previously. But I get that. But there's also what you can tell is there's a little bit of a perfectionist energy in there. Too much holding back. I don't have faith in myself to do this, So if there's any holding back for you really anywhere in your life, because I'm applying this to the idea specifically of healing thyself and healing others. This is being very specific with these archetypes. But with Jupiter square the moon, again, I will circle right back to the beginning. It's about looking inward. What the needs of the heart, what directions do my heart want are nudging me towards? It could just be creativity or something like this. You're wanting to share some beautiful piece of music you created. It's like, oh, it's not good enough. I can't share it. If you have any of that, I'm not good enough. If you can find where you have a little bit of a lack of faith in yourself in whatever area that is, Jupiter and Aries square the moon is saying, yeah, it's a little bit hard, but take that step. Have faith in yourself. And it is a lucky energy, even though it is a square. If you believe in yourself and you take that step beyond your comfort zone, part of your reward, not only the generosity that you give out coming back to you, but part of your reward is things tend to work out. That's that lucky planet Jupiter. It's not a guarantee that Jupiter will be lucky, but it's much more likely if you expand into life, that big, beautiful king energy. And here's where we really hit the holy grail of this. Okay. The more you work with Jupiter, okay, the more faith that you feel in yourself. And then the more faith you can radiate as healing energy towards others. And it has that magical effect. And then with that faith created within you, your aura expands and it's palpable. People can feel it. And when your attention is placed on them, that healing, loving energy, people feel better for it. That's a healing action. And a lot of it happens, like I said, energetically. And your attention on other people, your faith in other people causes them to have more faith in themselves. It lifts them up. This is especially true for people who have strong Jupiters in their chart. So this is a beautiful set of energy. I mean, it does have challenges, and it can work in a variety of different ways. The symbols can't help but be, somewhat impressionistic in general. If you can figure out how this plugs into your own personal chart, the level of exactitude, increases substantially. But this is describing the archetypal field that's very up for us right now. So just think, okay, new moon, what new healing actions can I take for myself, but also towards other people in a way that feels good to my heart? And how can I manifest more faith in myself to create more faith in others? And that's a generous action, and that generosity and healing energy I pour out into the world, I will receive back, and you'll have this positive feedback loop of love, faith, connection, courage, warrior, protector. So those are the core evolutionary intentions, with the goal being to expand our consciousness. Now we're headed over to the guided meditation. Please use headphones if you can, because I use a technology that will help you to sink into that meditative state. Enjoy. Make sure you're in a nice, comfortable position with a straight spine. And make any last subtle adjustments in your body. And focus on the count of the breath. And have 7 seconds per inhale. And hold 1 second at the top of the breath, and then 7 seconds per exhale. Hold 1 second at the bottom of the breath, and then 7 seconds inhale, hold for 1 second, 7 seconds exhale. And establish this rhythm as we enter into this meditation. Now move your conscious awareness down your right arm and into your right thumb. And visualize a bright white etheric vitality in your thumb. And feel, see, and hear that energy move from your thumb into your index finger. And now into your middle finger. Into the ring finger. And pinky. And see that white energy spread throughout your entire right hand. And move into your wrist. And slowly up through your forearm and into the elbow. Up into the upper arm. And right shoulder. Flow down into the armpit and down your right waist and into your hip. And feel it flow into the back of your thigh. And now the front of your thigh. Into the back of the knee. Now the kneecap. Flowing down into your shin and calf muscle. Into the right ankle. Heel. Right sole, and flow into the toes. And now visualize the entire right side of your body shining in a bright snow white color. And now move your attention over to your left thumb. And on the next inhale, see, feel, and hear this energy flow from your left thumb to the left index finger. Now the middle finger. Ring finger, pinky finger, entire left hand, into the wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, armpit, flow down the left waist and into the hip, back of the thigh, front of the thigh, back of the knee, kneecap, shin and calf muscle, heel, sole, toes. And now the entire left side of your body. And see this white energy flow up the back and front of your neck and up around the back of your head and down your face. And now expand this snow white etheric vitality throughout your entire body. And see, feel, and hear this etheric energy suffuse with every cell of your body. And see yourself as a star being, shining in all directions. Now bring your attention up to the chest. And see a beautiful rosy pink sun the size of a beach ball in and around your chest. And visualize this rosy sun growing very bright as you inhale. And as you exhale, the air goes out, but the energy stays in. And the sun continues to grow brighter and brighter with each inhale. This is your heart center, the center of emotions and desires. This is the perfect place to heal yourself, forgive yourself and others, your love center, and silently say some loving words to your heart. And forgive yourself for any wrongdoing. The first step to dissolving karma is forgiving yourself. Feel your heart smile with this pink color. Now, bring to mind the face of somebody with whom you've been having problems. Perhaps recently you've been quarreling over some small matter, or maybe it's been years since you have spoken to this person and you disappointed each other. It doesn't matter now. Just visualize that person's face in front of you. And if you've had differences with this person, you will see on his or her face an expression of anger or discontent. And really, this is a reflection of your own feelings. Forget all differences that have been harming this relationship. Now, as you visualize the face of this person, simultaneously see that rosy pink sun in your chest. And on the next inhale, expand that sun of light radiating from your heart. The light is a soft rose color, and it lights and caresses the face of the person in front of you. And silently say to yourself and to this person, clean our hearts to reflect divine love towards you and towards all other human beings. Our love is divine love. And with your thoughts, tell your friend, I no longer wish any differences between us. Let us forget the past. And visualize his or her face, understanding and agreeing. This person can no longer hate you. And you see that this person is now satisfied and happy. He or she is expressing love towards you, and you are returning that love. All differences are cast away. That friend is happy, no longer upset. You have helped him or her and yourself. If it is impossible to be together on the material plane, that is all right. But on the higher planes, together you have made peace. You have removed any poison of hatred and complaint, which handicaps the personality and brings illness into the material body. Wish good health and happiness to this person. And look to see if you notice any threads of attachment between you two. And if you're ready to cut those cords, visualize yourself cutting them, slicing right through them with your hand and arm. And let them go with love. Now focus again on your body, your whole body, as this being of white light shining in all directions. And as we end this meditation and the music fades, see yourself as pure white light.